Hey guys, welcome to Walking with Faith. My name is Faith. Basically, I just share content, make content based on what I'm going through with God, just my journey of growth in the Word, discipling myself, people discipling me, just growing closer to God. And I just did a fast last week, and I was praying about some things. And I just kind of wanted to share, just for like encouragement to anybody else that may be, asking the same questions of God as I was. It was so random because I had this moment where I was reading Corinthians, and it was talking about how Paul was talking about how being single, is better because you have more time, to spend time with God. You have more time to dedicate to the kingdom and things like that. And then a thought came to mind, like I'm in this space where I feel so good with God. Like I'm in this space where I'm seeking Him daily. I'm creating a foundation, for later, when I get my family and things like that. And then I started thinking, like, God, what if I get what I want? What if I get that relationship, I get that marriage and the kids, the things, the desires I'm asking Him of, and, I forget about Him, or I'm just not as on fire for Him, right? Like that made me so sad. I'm like, how do I start practicing that now, right? Like, how am I going to be able to manage other things and then putting Him first? I think like that's something we all have to do regardless of the season we're in. I think it's going to get a lot harder with, families and things like that. But I just kept thinking, like, how am I supposed to be in a relationship and not become just overflowing with like, love for the person or lust for the person, where I neglect our relationship. And I was fasting on that. And something else, I was like, God, what's a characteristic of you that I'm not seeing right now, that I'm neglecting to see in you, that you are actually working through me right now? And Corinthians, in First Corinthians right now, and as I was reading it, 1 Corinthians 10:12-13 kind of spoke to it. Well, it didn't it did speak to it. I was just like, wow. I asked the question and it was the answer specifically. And it says, no temptation has overtaken you but such as is common to man, and God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will provide the way of escape also, so you will be able to endure it. So basically, it's saying that nothing that tempts me has never been seen before. Like it's like repetition, right? The devil uses our desires, and the humans desires are not really new. It's just repurposed. Like it's just like revamping it in a different way. This is basically saying whatever you're tempted of, right? So many other people have already been tempted by it, and God has already overcome it. And a characteristic, like I was asking, what is a characteristic of God that I'm not seeing, is that God is faithful. He said God is faithful for me now, and God is going to be faithful for me later on. When I have those responsibilities, when I am in that relationship, when I am in that marriage, God is faithful to help me endure, because it says that He will not tempt me beyond what I'm able to. But in addition to that, He will provide a way of escape, right? There's always going to be a way out. There's always going to be an open. He will show me, but it's on me to be so connected to Him that I see it and I'm able to take that escape and leave, and get out of whatever I'm doing right at that moment. So it blessed me. Like it gave me a sense of peace. Like it just reminded me, like it's a remembrance of God is faithful, right? In everything, God walks with me, right? In the now, how I'm just like figuring out my job, school, He's still working, He's walking with me. So why not believe that He will walk with me even in that relationship? Why not believe He will walk with me even in my marriage, or even when I'm a mother, right? In motherhood. As long as I have a yearning, as long as I have a desire, God is going to be faithful, in the time I give, right? He will always draw me closer to Him as I seek Him further. So just to encourage y'all, like I get anxious about new things. I'm like, what if it disrupts, what if it disrupts, my time spent with God, starting new things, changes. I'm like, is this gonna cause me to backtrack to God? But I feel like growth is when you can do it and still and maneuver in a way where you still exalt God, but you still do those new things, in the sense that is growing your relationship, and that regardless of the storm, God comes first, right? I feel like it's training. It will train me to be able to handle things and still put God first. Like, it may be my job in the season, but then later on it's my job and school. Later on it's my job, school, marriage. My job, school, marriage, kids, right? It keeps adding on. But if I'm able to sustain it now and I'm growing that muscle of putting God first, regardless of the situation, why do I not believe that he would help me endure in those additional responsibilities? So I just just encouragement that yes, change is weird, and we may want to stay put, in our, secret place with God, which I love, man. I feel like I'm in a space where God, I feel his presence all the time. Like, I feel good in his presence. I feel loved in his presence. I'm learning so much about myself. I'm learning so much about God. And I'm like, I never want to leave this, but God is not stagnant. He's a God of growth. And he's going to add things onto my plate. And I have to learn how to put him first while I'm growing in those different areas. But yeah, just something I wanted to share. Nothing too long, nothing too crazy. But I pray that first and foremost, like, if you have questions, like things you're doubting, things you're anxious about, things like you just don't understand, I always tell people, go to God first. Like, prayer and fasting will really show you things that you probably aren't able to see when you're just like on your daily routines and things like that. When you dedicate to prayer and fasting, there's intent with it. You are expecting God to speak. I would say for me, I'm expecting God to speak when I'm praying and fasting. I spend a lot more time praying. I spend a lot more time reading the word when I'm praying and fasting. So I think prayer and fasting is such a great way to get yourself in that space, that is just you and God, that intimacy, blocking everything out. Go to God always for your questions. I mean, invite him in the confusion, invite him in the anxiousness, invite him in just like the little silly questions. Like I was saying, like, God, what if I forget about you? God, what if I don't spend as much time with you? When I do find that man that I want, when I do have those children that I pray about. But yeah, invite him into those questions, invite him into those little things, because God cares about everything that you care about, but yeah, just a little tidbit that I'm working on, that I got from last week. And I hope y'all seek him. I hope y'all take all your questions to him, all your thoughts to him, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.